Hi everybody, welcome back to The U. Right now we're going to take some time to talk about an issue that is really devastating and hits home for a lot of us, so it's tough to talk about, Hurricane Sandy. First off, let's talk about how it affected Penn State.
Very differently than it affected everywhere else in the world.
Yes. So, for those of you who don't know, Penn State canceled classes for the first time in 5 years, since 2007. So yes, it was a huge deal. I know when I got the text, I didn't believe it. I had to take a double take. But this, of course, caused some controversy and some things going on. A lot of people believed that because we didn't have school, they were hesitant to close Tuesday as well, because many believed that it would be an excuse for students to drink and party. How do you guys
It's
feel about
almost
it?
comical. I mean, there's this huge hurricane going on. Our families, our homes are at risk, and everyone takes this as an opportunity to drink. I mean, they said that the liquor stores, the beer stores sold out of the 40-ounce Hurricane beer bottles within an hour after the PSU text. That is absurd.
We were just saying, kind of typical Penn State. Everything we do is never in moderation, but it was so funny. People I know, like Onward State and State and Real, were tweeting pictures of the liquor stores.
The empty shelves.
Empty shelves. Like crazy lines, empty shelves.
It's
And
insane.
I think though, in our defense, people, at least I know with me and my friends, we were glued to the TV. We're from the areas that were really affected. So we were glued to the TV, glued to our phones to hear from family, but at the same time, we were kind of like, how can we get our mind off this? I can't be sitting staring at this for 10 hours straight. So I think it was just such a mix of emotions that no one really knew how to deal with it.
And like here, it wasn't bad.
No.
So like we didn't, it wasn't like we were home like experiencing like the nerves and everything. Like we were just kind of like, it's raining.
I mean,
let's go run around in the rain.
It's really true. And you did bring up a really good point. I couldn't be sitting in my room the entire day because I would constantly be thinking about what is going on with my home. I'm from New Jersey. Christina, so are you. You're from Connecticut. So we're all, I mean, your family luckily was safe here. And it was just, it's weird because we're in such a bubble, so removed from everything going on.
We really are in a bubble.
I mean, our families haven't had electricity for the past week now.
They're sitting in gas lines for hours a day. And like,
situations are awful.
for us, it's like, life is
It's going on.
Yeah,
It's the same exact thing.
So.
And
it's interesting because Penn State brought light to why we don't ever cancel classes. Penn State is afraid that this is going to happen every time, which is a valid fear, to be honest with you. When it's blizzarding,
can't blame them.
When it's blizzarding, if we can't make it to class, we shouldn't be able to make it to our friend's house or wherever we choose to go. Yet we somehow
and
do.
these house parties were like filled, like as if it were a Saturday night.
I just can't believe how huge and the vastness of this storm. Like I know a couple close friends whose homes are literally in the middle of the Atlantic Ocean, blown away. I know a friend whose houses are destroyed. Trees in the middle of the house can't even get into their house.
It's unreal. It's so surreal because we're just so removed from it's affecting everything. I mean, it's affecting the colleges, pushing back their early acceptance deadlines because of it. I mean, people don't have electricity. They can't go on their computer. They can't apply to college. Like it's crazy.
Yeah, it's like life literally just kind of stops. How do you?
It's like the apocalypse. I literally feel like the world is heading. The subway systems are completely down.
They were flooded.
They were.
How about in New York, the dangling?
The crane.
Yeah. It's so scary.
And I love New York. I'm so attached to New York that I was like out of my mind. I couldn't stop watching.
And like you said, like it didn't hit me until like I saw like what was like personally happening to my house. And like the first thing I saw was someone on Facebook actually posted a video of my street down the shore at my beach house, and like I like had to watch this video of like my best friend's like house is in the middle of our street, and then like it zooms in and you see my house just like at a 45-degree angle.
It's so surreal.
Like, and I was just like, what? Like I learned this
your
from
house
Facebook.
shifted
like,
from the foundation.
So and like it's
that is incredible.
And think that's just your story. I just can't. When I hear stories like that, I think of the millions. Like even a couple of my friends in Long Island, they're like exactly what you were saying. They're like, my town is literally underwater, which I just can't even.
And they just have nothing, nowhere to go. Like they said, we might not be able to like go onto the island for like up to 8 months.
Yeah, it's
that's
so
crazy.
scary. It's just, and I'm afraid to go home for Thanksgiving to see what it's going to be like.
Me too.
I mean,
so soon.
I
That's
know
very
it's in
scary.
2 weeks, and hopefully, I mean, we better have electricity running by then. But and also New Jersey New Jersey, New York, the New York metro area doesn't get hit with natural disasters that often. So we're not
Right.
really
Not
like our
prepared.
crisis
So
management
prepared.
isn't prepared
Exactly.
to handle.
I
something
just
like
don't think
this.
anyone was prepared, and even beyond, there's so many other things that were affected. Colleges pushed back application deadlines, which was crazy.
The hospital that had to be evacuated
Yes,
because
at
my
NYU.
goodness.
yep, their backup generators
Generator, too,
failed,
failed.
which is awful.
Which was unimaginable.
Literally, like babies were being born,
Yeah.
and they had to
Yes.
just evacuate the hospital.
Footage is like,
Convoys of
Yeah.
ambulances were lined up, they had ambulances from Ohio, from as far as California, traveling just to make sure everybody would get out there safely, which they did, thankfully.
Yes.
But it's
And
It
insane.
makes me shaky
Yeah,
just
it makes
thinking
me
about
shaky.
it.
And even
Me
the
too.
involvement of the two upcoming candidates, Obama and Romney, how they were involved. Obama signed a disaster declaration in New Jersey, and Romney turned his rally into a storm relief event. So obviously they have to be involved, and a big factor too, I know a lot of people were talking about, was how the two candidates handled this huge event in our history. How
It's
do
very
you guys
telling.
think?
I mean,
Yes,
it's very
it is.
telling because it's going to show how they're going to handle crises in
The future.
if they're elected into office. And I think both candidates really took action immediately. I mean, they had to.
Yes.
It's just interesting to see how each of them responded to
Yes,
it.
Yeah.
I agree.
I agree.
I definitely agree. And did you guys hear about this rabbi claim that the hurricane was punishment on New York for letting gay marriage happen? How do you guys feel about this?
Yeah.
That is absurd.
It is. I don't.
In our modern day, as far as we've come, we're in the 21st century. We've come so far, and I hate to see and hear remarks like that moving us backwards.
Oh, it totally is moving us
It's
backwards.
so sad. I mean, there's always going to be the controversial comment, the ignorant person that's going to say something like that
That's very true.
and get a lot of publicity for it.
Right.
But it's just, like, imagine those, the gay, the
Gay
couples,
community, yes,
the gay
yes.
community that hear that and how offensive, like, they're out of their house and they're have nothing and they're being blamed.
Yeah.
It's so
Yeah.
Like, what did I do?
For-
And we talked about even our personal and our families
Right.
and what we've been going through, and you're gonna totally divert the whole situation to just something.
To
I
put
don't
blame on
know.
to put
yeah,
blame on that just
Yeah.
doesn't make sense, and it's very unfair. I don't agree with it at all.
I know, but like we said, you're always gonna get your opinion, and things are gonna happen. But coming up next, we have a lighter topic. We're gonna be talking about entertainment news, so stay tuned.